Hello, my name is Snowlight. This is my Warcraft University, a YouTube series intended to give new and mid-tier players simple concepts towards playing World of Warcraft at a higher level. In this video we will discuss classes, leather, and cloth. In the previous lesson we reviewed the different classes in the game that can wear plate and mail armor. Today we're continuing with those that wear leather or cloth. You may be thinking that these classes are less powerful combatants, but that is not the case. For the most part, the balanced team at Blizzard has done a pretty good job of keeping the different classes pretty close to each other in how well they perform in their respective roles. With that in mind, I always recommend you find a class that matches the type of character you want to play, or a specific role or playstyle if you're looking for one of those. Let's get into some more class descriptions. Let's start with the newest class added to the game. Demon Hunters were first introduced alongside the release of the Legion expansion back in 2016. This is the second of two hero classes along with Death Knights currently in the game. Hero class is mostly a title and does not mean these classes have a significant advantage in the game. They're just like 10% cooler than other classes. Demon Hunters are able to fulfill the tank role through their Vengeance spec, or a melee DPS role via the Havoc spec, using the resource Fury to fuel their abilities. Amongst a variety of unique spells and abilities in the Demon Hunter's arsenal, they are primarily known for their mobility, with either leaps or dashes, and the double jump and gliding abilities. Demon Hunters are the only class in the game that uses glaives as their preferred weapon type, to the exclusion of all other types of weapon. Oh yeah, and Demon Hunters look really cool while they do all the things. The last class that was added to the game was the Monk, along with Mists of Pandaria expansion back in 2011, not chronologically, just in the order of this list. Monks have a number of weapons they can wield, but they generally deal damage with their fists, regardless of weapon type. Very much fulfilling the fantasy of, I don't need a weapon, I am a weapon, in the Windwalker spec. Monks can also fill the healing role via Mistweaver spec, intermixing different abilities which empower each other for maximum healing regeneration across your team. Finally, monks can fill in as a tank with a stagger effect, a unique resource bar that delays a portion of incoming damage for a more smooth damage intake. Compared to other tanks, Brewmasters have quite low armor and lower maximum health, but make up for it with both strong mitigation and self-heals. How do I classify rogues? Well, the rogue is a pure DPS class that wears leather and stabs things. It's a very straightforward class that is heavily focused on big DPS numbers and really nothing else. What's that? Stealth? They have invisibility? Oh, well that's a game changer. So it sounds like if you're looking for a stealth class that can absolutely eviscerate your opponents, then this class may be for you. There are 3 flavors of rogue, which I will call Masters of Stealth, Subtlety, Masters of Stabs, Assassination, or Yar, I'm a pirate and it's fun, Outlaw spec. In all 3 cases, rogues spend the resource energy to build up combo points, and then use finishing moves that are more powerful based on the number of combo points built up. Look, Mom, I'm a tank. Wait, no, I should be a healer. Oh, I guess I'll be melee DPS. What's that? You need range? Welcome to the most versatile class in the game. Druids are the only class with 4 possible talent specializations, 1 for each of the possible roles of the game, including both ranged and melee DPS. So strap in because this one's going to be a doozy. First, you can choose to be a Guardian Druid and stack very high hit points alongside with strong self-regeneration at the cost of mediocre damage mitigation in comparison to other tanks. Next, Restoration Druids are masters of the heal over time mechanic, which we will discuss in a healing-focused video, but suffice to say that they are very potent at applying long-lasting heals across your party or raid. If you're feeling the ranged DPS role, you can go with the balance spec, incorporating the powers of day and night to bring down spells upon your foes. Regardless of the specialization you choose, there will be a row of talents that will bring in aspects of a second spec into your playstyle, definitely adding to the flexibility of the class. But wait, I did say there were 4 Druid specializations, and did anyone notice that elf that turned into a cat earlier? That's right, we still have to talk about feral spec. This particular specialization is often considered either the most difficult or the least viable spec for any class in the game, but in the hands of an expert, it can be just as viable as any other DPS spec. I have seen players befuddled when they get beaten by a feral player on the DPS meters. So if you want to play this spec, just know that it is just as viable as any other DPS role, but it will probably take some extra practice compared to other classes. Very challenging, but very rewarding. Okay, now let's move on to the cloth classes. Opposite of the plate-wearing classes, cloth wearers are entirely ranged classes that would prefer not to be hit by a direct attack, ever. It does tend to leave a squished feeling in your everything. Warlocks call upon demons for their companions and have a number of options available for this pet. They can choose a companion that tanks for them in solo content, a ranged caster minion, or a variety of options in between. Beyond this, Warlocks can focus on dealing damage through direct spells like Shadow Ball, using the Destruction spec, inflict damage over time spells through the Affliction spec, or summoning more and more temporary monsters in the Demonology spec. All of these share a few spells, but each of these specializations focus heavily on that type of damage. Regardless of what you choose, this is a very potent ranged DPS caster class. Keeping with powerful ranged DPS, mages are casters that harness the elements of fire and frost, or possibly arcane spells. The 3 specializations line up with these 3 types of spells, focusing heavily in the one element of your choice. While limited to the DPS role, mages also bring a good amount of utility to any raid team. The spell Time Warp is similar to Heroism or Lust. Mages are also able to lock down an enemy either through freezing them to the floor, or by just changing that enemy into a sheep. And finally, mages have a number of ways to blink from one place to another, a short distance away. Lastly, priests. This class is the only class that has 2 different healing specializations. The first, Holy Spec, is a combination of all forms of healing, that is to say, healing over time, preloaded healing, damage mitigation, and then a heavy focus on direct heals. And we will go into all of these in a future video. That being said, Discipline Spec is probably the most unique type of healing specialization because it combines heavy damage mitigation and preloading for the next big damage spike, along with a deal damage to heal damage mechanic, and is therefore, in my opinion, one of the hardest types of healers to learn. But that's not all. If you feel the need to call upon the Void to consume your enemies, you might just want to look into the Shadow DPS spec, because, Void damage is fun. That will cover the leather and cloth classes currently in World of Warcraft. As with the last video, every class has some cool stuff that isn't discussed here, so I want to hear what you think I missed in these high-level descriptions. If you're looking for your new favorite class, did any of these descriptions call out to you? If you found this useful, please leave a like on the video or a comment with any questions or ideas so we can continue to work on the series. The subscribe button and the bell are there so you can see when new videos come out, if that is your desire. As always, please be positive in your guilds and help make WoW a fun place for everyone to play. Goodbye for now.